And Jenna. Anybody else joining us?
I'll be right there.
Could be an entire team. Here we go.
Guys,
Hey,
good to see you.
yeah, how's everybody doing?
Good.
How's the weather in your neck of the woods, Daniela?
Oh, amazing. 77. Not to make you jealous, but
I'm so happy. I would much rather you than us have it for sure. Despite popular belief, I actually love it when it feels like -9 outside. I think that is the best.
that's totally believable.
Yeah, it must suck to have it be like 77 and warm out. I'm sorry. So as the selfish person I am, I'm offering to switch positions, and I will go there, and you can.
More people coming in. This is also streaming live in our one of our Facebook groups. And we wanted to do it so that we kill two birds with one stone, but this is going to be a training on subject 2, and the training subject matter expert is coming in. We have to use the restroom. Yeah, Zeus is coming in. I get messed up because I know I'm calling him Zeus and Zach. Anyways, okay. Who else? Travis is on. If you could put your cameras on. I understand if you're doing some other stuff. But let's all put our cameras on if you can. And let me just do a couple housekeeping things here. I want to make sure that we're on live. But we are talking about subject 2 today, and Dave is going to be kicking off this training. So give me a second here. You should be good to go, Dave. I just want to check the group real quick.
What's up, everybody? What brings us to this conversation? So, Daniela, are you finding a lot of people like in your, and by the way, we have some voyeurs here. So we have some people streaming in from the Cream Resources group. So you guys, we're not alone, just so everybody knows. So you want to, hold back all your curse words. I know Daniela, you got quite the tongue on you. And so what brings us here? Why are we doing this training? First off, are you finding buyers? Casey, maybe you could kind of give some direction here. Are we finding buyers who are wanting to like buy these things?
Yeah.
Sellers that,
For a few of the properties that we've been sending out, we've been getting offers coming in that are either sub-2 offers, seller finance offers, and what we're really looking for is some direction on how to navigate those, how to kind of go back and pitch those options to sellers. I know Travis actually got a property under contract a couple days ago, where that was kind of his initial exit strategy idea. Because we didn't really know if we could be able to wholesale it or whatever, but due to the price on the mortgage that the guy was paying monthly and like kind of what was owed, we thought that might be a pretty good exit strategy. I know Jenna's been getting a lot of offers on properties as well. Just a lot of people coming through Facebook. I would say more so it's buyers that we're kind of unfamiliar with. So like the buyers that are kind of coming off like Daniela's list that she's built for a while, those are generally still like typical offers, but that's what we're kind of seeing. So, in essence, we're just looking for some direction on how to navigate these, how to counter, what's best to counter on, what is the information we need from the sellers, best way to pitch it to them, just some stuff like that. So
I got that part down. So I got some notes here. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's the fun and easy part. I pitched a lot of these things. Daniela and Jenna, maybe you could give me some what you're getting on your end. So you're getting buyers who are maybe like we're putting a deal out there for a cash buyer, but then are we getting buyers who are like, hey, can you do something creative? Or is that kind of like how this all started?
On my end, I do have some occasional buyers who will ask about creative financing, or message me about particular deals, especially in more rural areas of Ohio, asking if there's like a chance to do seller financing, sub to stuff like that. But I think Jenna would be able to provide a better answer because she's the one that's been getting a lot of those requests and offers from buyers on her end.
Um, yeah, I probably receive sub twos, seller financing offers all day, every day. I get offers like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I get a lot of seller finance offers. Um, Particularly maybe, and I might be minimizing it, but I probably get at least 12 messages a day about seller finance or about
Incredible.
rent to own options on any property that I post. Particularly ones with land, I get a lot of sub two, or I get a lot of seller finance. Most recently on East Liverpool, I've gotten two pretty decent offers, which I submitted because they had high down payments. The most recent one I got was 20K down, 1,700 a month, with paid off in 8 months. So a lot of the offers that I do get hit pretty heavy when they do want to do them. Before then on East Liverpool, one guy submitted one for 5K and I got him up to 12 down. So it just depends, but I do get very often those messages. And when I ask for down payments, they're usually pretty large and they just don't want to go through banks to buy a home. Some will. I got a sub two offer on Union Hill, which was a pretty good offer. He ended up deciding to walk away, but he had a pretty large down payment and was really flexible and was like ready to move as soon as he submitted it. But yeah, I would say it's a relatively huge part of my day. Getting
Interesting.
those kind of offers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So when you say they got a big or a large down payment,
Mhm.
what do you mean by that? About how much are you kind of seeing? What do you consider a big down payment?
Most of the time I consider it large if it covers our spread and some is usually when I'll entertain something similar. So I'll always check our spread first and see if the down payment even covers what we're trying to make on it. And if it does, then it's usually something I'll start entertaining with them. But sometimes it's 15,000, sometimes it's 25,000. It just literally depends on the house. Like I said, one guy submitted one for 5K and I got him up to 12. So I think some of
And
them
this
have the
is,
money.
yeah, cool. And this is somebody who wanted to put the money down and then move into the property, right?
No, he was actually a flipper. So he buys only in East Liverpool, and that's how he's been obtaining a lot of his properties without using banks, is doing seller finance, paying off in a few months, and then taking over the title of the home. But he was one, and then the offer that I got on Union Hill, he was another. He was actually going, both of them were going to flip and hold. Both of them were. They wanted to renovate and then rent.
And they wanted to buy it on creative type of offer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're talking about. So the one on East Liverpool, Travis, is that the one that you wrote recently that Casey had just mentioned? Do you want to go through that particular one that you got as like an example here?
I think Travis did Union Hill.
Was that Union? Was that the one you were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So something like that. The only reason I brought it up is because when you look at the ARV for the property, kind of what we were purchasing it at, which at the time, I think it was 83,000. ARV was probably 165. And because of the amount of work, it's a hoarder situation. So I can share pictures, but I think you get the gist with the amount of work that needs to be done. So when you compare the amount of work to what it's worth, a lot of people, in my opinion, I wouldn't think that they would want to even submit an offer around 99 or 100, which is kind of where we wanted to be. So that's why we brought up subject two. And we got some mixed feedback with comps being 300, 180, but the two people that were interested, from what I remember, only wanted to offer as use ARV, excuse me, of 160 to 180.
Sure.
So it didn't work for their numbers. So then we considered the subject two as a proposition, and then initially we thought it would be the best idea for somebody buying it.
Got it. Did we put it out there or get any in? What is the street name on this particular one so we know what we're talking about?
I think it's Blue Rock Drive.
Blue. Let's call it Blue.
Or no, sorry, Union Hill is the
Oh, this,
street name. City is Blue Rock, Ohio.
got it. So this is the Union one Jenna was mentioning. So
Yep.
Jenna and Daniela, when you guys put this one out there, did you get any type of offers like that?
My average was around 50 to 60K. There was definitely a lot of interest because most buyers in the area knew the house from before. So they knew it was a really nice house. They knew it had land. After they walked it, that's when they came in way low on their offers just because of the situation with the home. And we pitched them sub two, but still the mortgage that they needed to take over was over what they were planning on spending in the house. But they did say that it seemed like a good deal because houses in the area are going for around 300. So that's what caught their eye initially.
Right, but we kind of decided on that 165 ARV. I got that. And so you put it out there to find a cash buyer for like 99, but what was the best cash offer that you got?
For me, it was 60.
60. Jenna, is that kind of what you were seeing?
Yep. That's usually what I was seeing. So the one guy that we did have, Chuck was his name, he was a really strong offer. He was willing to put 20K down, take over the mortgage, but he ended up wanting to be a backup buyer. And then we kind of were moving in a different direction, and he was like, well, I'm moving on now. So, but he brought up sub two to me first because he wanted
brought up to you 20K down and then take over the mortgage. Did you guys talk about what was owed on the mortgage?
I think him and Charles may have, but he was kind of putting it in perspective, like he didn't necessarily care what was left on the mortgage because he was trying to either hold on to it and a renter would pay it so he wouldn't be so worried about it, or he had mentioned to me, like, if I flip it in 6 months, then I'm not overly concerned because I would only pay the 6 months of the mortgage and then eventually it would get paid off when I sold it. So it's kind of what he was saying to me. He would message me every once in a while, but then he kind of dropped off. And when I went back to him about rekindling the offer, he was like, I've already moved on to a different property. So
yeah, he's not serious. I get it.
Yeah, I think we waited a little too long. It was like over a week or maybe 5 or 6 days after he had seen the house. So he was moving and grooving in a different way.
Got it. Travis, in your how did you come up with the 83K in your offer on that one?
Just the humanity side of me wanted to help him out a little bit. He owed 78, give him another 5, help him. His wife has dementia and they're kind of going through it, so trying to also help him out.
So he owes 78. Do you know if the payments are current?
They're not. He's behind $5,600. We have documented that too.
Cool. And oh, so the 78 includes what he's behind as well?
Yeah, so after thinking about it, I honestly at first didn't know that he was behind on the 5,600. So after thinking about it, obviously the 83 would have only paid off the default amount and then also the mortgage. So that's what it was signed.
the 5K humanitarian deposit would have only covered his back
Yeah.
payments, correct?
And actually not even all of it. So that kind of
Not
backfired
even
on me.
all of it. Okay, no worries. Do you know what the payment was? The PITI payment on the 70, call it whatever, 78, we'll call it.
Yeah, 645 PITI.
And what is the going rent? Did you guys have a rent estimate?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to comp out because the house comes with about 5 to 6 acres of land. So I don't know how you compare it to the what was actually being rented in the area. There wasn't really comparable for that. So I think conservatively though, we said it was like 800 a month for just any other unit in the area.
Since there's like land, those land deals are not ideal for like investors. That's more for like somebody who like wants to live there and live in the land and whatnot, most likely.
Agree with that, yeah.
So have you talked to the seller at all about like obviously we went in with a cash offer. We said, "Hey, we'll give you the 83 and then we're trying to find a buyer for 99. We can't find a buyer for 99." So then have you gone back to the seller and said, "Would you entertain something different than the all cash offer that I gave you?"
Yeah, yep. I did it last week, had the conversation, and he was all on board. I mean, he really just needs to get out of the place. He's very motivated, I would say.
Do they have another place to go at this point in time?
He just texted me yesterday, actually, and he said he's got a place available for rent. It comes up in February. He just texted me that yesterday.
Sweet. And he's just ready to go. I mean, they've been living there, hoarding the place out,
Basically.
and falling back on payments. So, I mean, where my mind goes here is like, look, man, if we just let the bank take it, nobody gets anything. That's the worst idea. And the way to pitch these to the seller on the acquisition side, Zeus, KC, Miriam, the way to do it is just like, well, here's the thing. What if we were to pay that payment every single month? Your payment's 645. What if we were to catch up the back payments and pay that payment every single month until the house sells? And when the house sells, then the whole balance will be paid off. That's pretty much it. What if we were to catch up the back payments this way it doesn't foreclose? Because if it forecloses, nobody gets anything. Still get you a little cash, and then pay that payment every month until the house sells. It's pretty straightforward offer. And then our goal on the dispositions end would be to find someone with enough down payment to give the seller the cash that we promised them in the offer. They got to come up with the cash for the back payments as well. And they got to come up with the cash for our fee. We got to make at least 10K. So in this particular situation, with them being behind on payments, get the seller getting 5 and the back payments being like, call it another 5, and our fee being 10K minimum, we probably, I mean, if we had someone with at least 20K to put down, ideally more. I mean, we're given, we want as much as possible here for the fee, because I mean, we're doing a lot of work here. This is specialty. This is a special deal. They don't have to qualify for a new mortgage. It's a really great deal. But if we could find someone with like 30 G's down and they're willing to take the property as is, then we can pay the back payments, give the seller a little humanitarian deposit, be profitable as a company, and then the buyer, they take over that 645 per month. And that's it. I mean, I think there's a deal there. It sounds to me. What do you guys think?
I like the fact that it has a lot of land.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
something
for
that,
like a homeowner type,
Mhm.
What city is this in? I've never even heard of that city before, Travis.
It's Blue Rock. It's south of it's
Zanesville.
south of Zanesville.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes south of it, basically.
If you know where
Danielle,
Philo's at, it's right below that.
yep. I mean, so, and here's the reason for anyone watching this, the reason we're even entertaining this is there's just not a lot of cash buyers in these small cities. You know, you're going to find the cash buyers in Columbus and the major metro areas. That's all day. I mean, I want to help this guy out. It sounds like he's already got a new place. I'd love to work with this guy, Travis, get him the money, catch up these back payments. If we can find someone with like 30K down, I think we should market it just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Say 30K down. Go
Is
ahead.
he cool with us doing our PEP program here and going the extra step and getting this to see if anybody's out there looking for this opportunity on a bigger scale since it'd be on the market?
That's interesting. I don't know if we've ever talked about, are you referring to like pepping it as a subject too? Like listing
No,
it as a
Pep,
Yeah.
subject?
Pep,
Yeah, it could be a PEP or subject to in there, open to financing deals and then
Okay.
finding our end buyer that way too.
Yeah,
Here's why,
I've
because
thought of it.
somebody that's looking for that has cash, right? You guys are finding a lot of these 10, 15, 20K type buyers on, Facebook. Continue doing that route, but there might be someone that wants to be represented by a real estate agent looking in the MLS. And so protecting their equity, having that extra play here of, hey, if you guys are real estate agents finding some buyers and they have cash, but they want to work something out creatively, then we might be able to do it that way as well. Work out a spread.
yeah, we could put it on the
Anywho,
MLS as like open to creative offers. If we know the seller's on board, Travis, if you hit him with the old, hey, well, what we're going to try to do here is catch up the back payments, give you a little humanitarian cash, and then we're just going to pay the payment every month until it sells. Are you cool with something like that? If he's on board for that, super motivated seller, it is true. RJ's got a point. You can market this thing on the MLS, open to creative offers. Well, ideally find a cash buyer. But even if we found someone with 30K down, they're getting a screaming deal. Because really, what is actually owed is somewhere around like 72 or 73. And they come in with 30K. Their total cost basis between the debt and their down payment is still only like 108 or 110. We're talking about a conservative ARV of like 165. Some people think it's worth 300, but I mean, they're all into this deal just on the debt side and the cash they're putting in to get the deal, like 108, 110K. Feels like a really good deal for the buyer. And even if it was, let's say the value is 165, which feels like a pretty accurate ARV. And even if they were to go get some other loan and they had to put like 20% down, a lot of buyers right now have to put 20% down. And let's just say they bought it for 160. Well, that would be $32,000 down. I mean, here's 30K down. You're coming in, you're and just paying $645 a month, and you're all into this deal for, like we talked about, like 100 and something thousand. Do you think the seller would kind of do anything at this point, Travis?
The concern initially was that the wife with dementia wasn't going to allow people through the property because she kind of just simply because of how that works. But she, as far as I understand, she's actually, I think officials kind of got involved and essentially made it where it wasn't safe for her to live at home. So I think it is at this point would be a possibility. Every time that we've had a walkthrough, he's just agreed to kind of vacate the property for that time frame. So at this point, I would say that is an option, and that was as of like a week ago. But initially, it wasn't.
It wasn't a concern initially. The biggest
Initially, what listing it was not that was, I should say, it was not an option, as simply because of her, her mental health.
but they're going to be out of there soon anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So if they're going to be out of there, um, I don't think it's quite a pre-foreclosure, but they have to be really close, I imagine, with them being behind that much.
Actually, if they're only back 5K or something like that,
Yeah.
I mean, with the fees and everything like that, they're probably not only a few months. And in Ohio, it's kind of like this long, drawn out judicial process. I
Yeah.
think there could be a play here once they move out where we could really start to get cranking on our inspections and stuff like that and turn this thing into like a PEP, like a novation deal. I think the biggest roadblock is not the sellers not being flexible. It's that inspection, the mental health and whatnot. That's the biggest barrier at the moment. I don't even think they're being unreasonable with how much cash they want and what this is going to do. I think there's a deal here. I do think we should market this. I'd love to just see what kind of feedback you get. If you can find someone 30K down, 645 per month, market that. And so here's the thing. So here's my notes, everybody. On the acquisition side, Miriam, Travis, Casey, Zach, the only thing we care about is how much cash is going to the seller, how much cash is needed to catch up the loan to make it current, and our fee. So that's the money that we want to know how much that is, right? I mean, our fees, like we know our fee, we want that to be as much as possible, but we want to know, what we're negotiating here is like the cash to the seller, and we want that amount to be as low as possible. Of course, that's the negotiation is what if we could give you some cash, pay this payment every single month until the house sells? What if we can give you some cash, catch up the back payments so the loan is current, and then make that payment ongoing so it stays current until the property eventually sells and gets out of your name? That's the pitch. What if we could do that? Well, how much cash are we talking? Well, let's talk. What do you need to move? Right. So the more money we have to give to the seller, it's cutting into our spread. Because I mean, when we sell this thing on the dispo end, we're going to try to get the biggest down payment we possibly can. But if we're promising the seller a lot of cash up front, that's going to tap into that large down payment we collect on the back end. So when we're talking to sellers, I think it's very good for you to make it a good habit and practice to find out approximately what is owed on the mortgage. It should just be commonplace to get this information. Approximately, especially if there's motivation. If they're not motivated and we're just going for a straight, low ball deal or something like that, it's going to be trickier to get into the finances on the deal. But especially if they're back on payments, they're motivated, we need to find out what is owed, approximately how much it's going to take to reinstate this loan or get it current. And then we want to negotiate how much cash they're willing to basically take to walk away. That's it. And then on the back end, what we're really looking at here, Daniela and Jenna, it's all about that potential cash flow. Because so you're paying attention to what the payment is. In this situation, it's 645. So you're going to sell this thing I mean, this is a great deal. It's, 30K down, 645 per month. Let's say the estimated rent is like 1,300. You could be like, $675 a month potential cash flow with 30K down. 645 per month. This thing's estimated rent at 1,300. You got a potential of 675 in gross monthly cash flow. Sell it like an investment. So I mean, if you were looking at it like this, if there was a genuinely like an estimate, you want to pay attention to the rent and the payment and the cash flow on the dispo end. Like how much you're going to have, how much your buyer is going to put down, and then how much gross cash flow that is potential. So what I would do is let's just pretend it's like 600. Well, what you do is take that gross potential cash flow, 600, times it by 12. So there's 12 months in a year. So it's $7,200 in gross monthly cash flow. And if you're collecting in $7,200 on a 30K investment, you take your 7,200 divided by their investment or down payment of 30,000. So 7,200 divided by 30,000 is 0.24%. So you can be like, it's a 24% cash on cash return. That's like what an investor would think about. So it's like, look, you're coming out with 30K down, and there's a potential of $600 a month in cash flow. Annually, that's $7,200. It's a 24% cash on cash return. It's a solid little dispo right there, you know?
Yep.
That's my feedback here. I love these conversations and I love these deals, especially if you got a motivated seller. Let's market this thing any way we possibly can, you know?
Can I throw one more at you?
Yeah, please.
All right, so Travis, I was talking about this when you got
Yeah.
signed. Ellsworth
I know you were.
So,
It became that.
yeah. So if you just kind of want to break down that situation with like getting caught up in what the monthly payments currently are and how we're trying to catch those back up and what the potential payment is there. Because he got this one signed yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've put it out yet.
No, I have pictures. It's, I just put it on Monday, but I was kind of waiting. Wanted to know how we wanted to market it, but it takes me 2 minutes. I can put it on there.
Okay, so I think this would be a really applicable example if we could use this one just to because we haven't put anything out yet, so it's not like kind of like reverting back. This is one we actually got signed with this intention, and kind of run through that real quick and just best way to throw that out there. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. So Spark Notes, based on what Dave mentioned, they owe 71. I was trying to get the contract signed at 60. They owe 71. Not the only thing they're behind on is water taxes. They had an insurance company come out, fix everything, didn't work. And I guess they didn't pay the water bill, so they imposed it as water tax. Accumulated $2,000. Payment for that per month is $300. And then there's some escrow shortages as well. I'm unsure of the amount at the moment, so I'm still trying to get that information. Payment prior to, so just PITI, prior to everything being escalated was under 1,000. I want to say it was close to 900. It's currently 1,500 because of all the shortages. It's pretty expensive. I think that was it, right, Dave? Was there anything else?
So how many? So that's interesting. So I mean, they owe 71. The only discrepancies or back anything is like 2K. Oh, so they added on $300 to the under 1,000 monthly payment.
I think there's also some escrow shortages causing.
So that's what got us to the 1,500.
Correct.
Got it. But eventually, I mean, if somebody came in and paid these back shortages and this back, we're looking at under 1,000.
Yes, as far as I understand, yeah.
Yep. And then your original cash offer was like 60 G's, but that's not going to be a fit because they owe 71. Got it. What's your opinion of ARV?
So at 60, it was going to be a 20 pop. ARV was 120. The house is completely renovated. So it was a livable house. They lived in it. There was some pipes that bursted. So the variable is that the second floor has not been fixed yet, and the pipes are in the wall.
So is this a scenario where what is the seller wanting?
They want to be out from it because $1,500 a month is they're paying for this property and another property that the boyfriend's trying to sell it. The girlfriend is the owner, but the boyfriend's trying to sell it. They have two properties together as a couple, and they're paying for both at the moment. The 1,500 is sucking them dry.
Yep. So the main motivation point is this to get out from under this payment, not necessarily collecting cash up front is not as important.
They don't want anything from it. Obviously we have to pay some things to get everything current, but yeah, they don't need anything. They already have another place that they're living in. They're not trying to get funds for another place. It's pretty good.
Here's the magic question. What is the estimated rent?
Um, Casey and I looked at this too. Do you remember, Casey? It's slipping. You're muted.
No, I know. No, I thought we were, I don't know, it kind of depended on what they were going to do on finish outs or something like that, but I thought we were looking around 1,000, maybe a little bit more, if I'm remembering correctly. So I think when we were talking about it, if their payment gets down to what it was like $700-800 or something like that or whatever, and they put somebody in there for 1,000, they'd be basically cash flowing a couple $100 a month. After these payments got caught up, whether it be escrow or this water tax or something, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that was this one.
Hang on a second. But if all the back stuff, the 2K and all that was to get paid, they're not going as low as 6 or 7 a month. It's still going to be around 9. Did I understand that correctly?
I said around like 8, so I was just kind of throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So we got up around if we were able to rent it out at 1,000.
Yeah. We also don't know yet. The seller is working with the bank and finding out what needs paid, and so we can get the escrow shortage fixed out. So we're still waiting on that. We just got this recently signed.
Do we have on the dispo side, what's the street name of this one, just so we can keep it separate? Sorry.
Ellsworth?
Ellsworth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ellsworth.
That's cool. Did Daniela and Jenna, did we put this out there? Are we getting interest on this particular property? And if so, what kind of cash offers are we looking at?
No, we haven't started marketing it.
Oh, let's market it. Let's market it and see what we should always go with the cash first. It's just like in acquisitions when we're coming in with the low ball, coming in with the the low anchor. I would put it out there. I mean, at 60, it's a 20 pop. So it sounds like you're estimating this thing can go for 80-ish cash. Is that what you guys are assuming?
Yeah, because like I said, it's completely renovated. It's just that there's the pipe issue, and then it has an older roof, and then mechanicals are dated 2010, 2016. So, my approach on it was if we get it at 60, somebody could take it, and then it would sell for 110, 120, no problem. But with it being at 71, I think we're cutting it close, but.
And with that too, I know you mentioned, so basically what's going on with this pipe situation is you said the basement, the first floor have already been fixed, right?
Yeah.
So, but
insurance fixed it, yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, nobody's really worked on the second floor, so we're kind of being conservative here because we don't know the extent of the damage on the second floor, what that really looks like. So we felt pretty confident at 80 going into this. Now, when we figured out that they owed 71, that's where we kind of tried to reframe it, and then we're like, okay, how do we increase our spread on this property? One, hopefully getting a bigger down payment for someone to kind of take this down, and then we can maybe clear 10 to 15 on something like that rather than just trying to sell it at 80. Now, if we throw it out as a wholesale, also saying that we're open to creative financing or sub 2 or whatever it may be, then we can kind of entertain both options. But to be honest, we were kind of waiting for this meeting and this training with you guys to kind of feel out how we wanted to approach this, and we're planning on getting it out for the weekend.
Excellent. Yeah, I think this is a great one to talk about. So I think we should market it as 85 cash or what comes to mind. So it's ARV 120. What if we did like the price is 100,000, and what it would be is it's like price is 100,000, and that's like 30K down, 900 a month, or whatever their monthly payment, whatever that monthly payment is going to go down to after those back payments and escrow shortages are paid, whatever that payment is, that's the payment. So what if you said, hey, here you go. Or, sales price is 105, 35,000 down, 900 a month. It's like a car, like it's like that's how you sell a car. It's like it's 60K, but it's like with down payment, they sell the monthly payment, right? So what if we offer to put it out to the market at like 105 with 30K down and then 9 something a month, whatever it is, or 85 all cash, your choice. So you could do, there's a couple things. So there's 105 with 30K down and here's the monthly payment, or 85 cash. Take your choice. Something like that. I'm just trying to think creatively, and this is not an end all be all. We're just kind of spitballing this one out together. So that's where my mind goes. I'm open to any feedback though.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think, yeah, no, and that's kind of what we were looking for in just a sense of like, how do we put this out to see like the best way to just try and attract both offers so we can entertain what we think is best.
Two prices, yeah. So there's the financing one. If we're offering financing, we offer the higher price and share with them the down payment and the monthly payment, or all cash. You're going to get the lower price. It's going to be 85 all cash. Your choice.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's really no room on my end to list. That was not an option. So
What do you mean? Like as far as like a standard PEP?
yeah, like if we were to go to PEP and then for creative financing, do what we talked about for Union Hill, it's not an option on this one.
Why is that?
They have a friend that's a realtor, so if they were going to list it, they would just do that.
Okay, understood. Yeah, let's put it out there. This is our first time doing something like this, right? Do you guys, RJ and KC and anyone really, and especially Daniela and Jenna, how do you guys feel about this like type of proposal to the market, like 105 or 105 or with these terms or 85 cash? Like, what do you guys think about this?
I would think that this will get more eyes because lately you see more buyers willing to do creative terms for deals. So if this can create a bigger pool of buyers, I think it's worth a shot. Either way, we get our money. So I don't care if it's a seller financed creative financing kind of deal or cash, as long as we can get some more money on the board.
What makes this potentially a good deal is the fact that the sellers are like not needing cash. So on the acquisition side, we want to pay the seller as little as possible. On the disposition side, we want to collect as much as possible.
Absolutely. And then I think for the most part, generally, like we're looking at our first two exit strategies for the most part. It's can we PEP this? Can we wholesale this? We try and figure that out, right? Then, if we run into these issues where they owe too much to be able to wholesale, they don't have the time because they're paying on two houses or whatever it is. And, if they really had the time, they would go with their realtor friend or whatever it may be. This way, it's kind of for all intents and purposes, it'll act as a wholesale for us because we're just assigning, the right to this mortgage or seller finance or whatever it is. And then that way we're still able to collect our fee and get them out of this situation in a relatively quick amount of time. So I think it's a nice third option for these types of deals where, we can't really make much wholesaling and, they're not letting us throw it on the market. So we need to, kind of get creative on our end. And, if we can increase our spread as much as possible on these things. And then also it does give us an opportunity to maximize, the amount of leads that are coming in as well. So it gives us like a third option.
And there is no deal unless the seller's like cool with the whole pitch of, well, hey, what if we, give you a little cash or not, whatever you negotiate, and just pay that monthly payment every month until get you out from under the payment. Make sure the payment's paid every single month until the house sells. If they're not on board for that, then there is no creative dispo option. I like I'm excited to see what happens with Ellsworth. I think Ellsworth is ideal because it's like a perfect scenario. They just want out from under this payment. They got 2 monthly payments right now. We could totally help them. And maybe it's